everybody, and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie Esther here, and today we're going to look at the September developer update from Dead by Daylight. They put out this tweet this morning about it, which says, the September developer update is here. Anti-face camping, skull merchant update, map changes, killer tweaks, and more. Read here. When you click that link, it takes you to the official Dead by Daylight forums, which this page was just updated by Peanuts this morning at 9:55 a.m. And it goes through this. Oh, Macmillan Estates, perks and killer tweaks. Let's read through this together, shall we? September 2023 developer update. Spooky season is officially underway, and we're getting in the spirit with a hefty developer update covering everything coming to the game within the next month. This time we have news to share about new features, killer updates, and various perk and map changes. First off, anti-face camping. You probably don't want to find yourself on the hook in the first place, but it can quickly become frustrating if the killer decides to wait nearby, preventing all but the most coordinated of teams from rescuing you. Camping has long been a contentious topic. While there are times where camping is the smart thing for the killer to do, if there are survivors nearby, for example, there's not much the survivor being camped can do. To help in the most extreme cases, we're introducing a new feature which may give you a second chance. Going forward, you'll notice a new meter appears whenever you're on the hook. This meter will gradually fill whenever the killer is near you. The closer the killer is, the faster the meter will build. And once it is full, you'll gain the ability to unhook yourself with a 100% chance of success, even during the second hook phase. Unhooking yourself in this way will grant you all the usual benefits such as endurance and haste. And this was the teaser they showed us last week with this meter, with Jane being camped by the trapper and taking the chance to unhook yourself with the meter building. To ensure that this cannot be abused by aggressive survivors, the rate at which the meter fills will decrease or potentially even stop entirely when other survivors are nearby. Additionally, once the exit gates are powered, this feature will disable entirely. This is because at this point in the match, the killer needs to do whatever they can to secure one last kill, so we can't expect them to graciously leave the hook. This new mechanic is intended to address the most egregious camping scenarios, discouraging killers from standing too close to a hook survivor for an extended period and creating opportunities for other survivors to make the save. So we'll have to play this out in the test build and see what it's like. Some of the concerns that I have seen. So in this scenario here, where the trapper has Jane on the hook and is standing there, some people have pointed out that it may make it difficult for the killer to hook a survivor near gens that they're trying to protect for fear of accidentally building up this meter while kicking the gen. We'll have to see how quickly the meter builds. Like if the killer stops to regress that gen, how much camping is that going to count as, right? And so then the rough framework for what we had on how this would work, let me see here, was this was it, about standing within 5 meters of a hook survivor rapidly builds this meter. Now this is just a rough framework. We don't know if this is exactly what this is going to be like. This was proposed and everything is subject to change. So it looks like you need to be at least 16 meters away to not build the meter at all. So hopefully this won't become a problem where killers like want to hook a survivor in the middle of a 3-gen that they're trying to protect. We'll see what happens when it's all being tested and live, right? Another concern that I saw was, Not Jared wrote, please consider disabling Bubba's chainsaw near hook survivors, because he can still plow through the unhook endurance with 3 sweeps of his chainsaw. And Dead by Daylight responded, Leatherface has some special considerations with this in mind to prevent him from repeatedly hitting an unhooked survivor before they can run away. And this will also be in the PTB. So they have thought about this as far as face camping Bubba as well. All right, let's get back to the update here. Skull Merchant. It's been a while since the sound of drones first filled the entity's realm. Since then, the Skull Merchant's eyes in the sky have largely been used as eyes on the generators. leading to some very long matches. In this update, we're overhauling the Skull Merchant's drones to reduce their effectiveness in defending generators while improving their strength and chase. Lock on. Active zones. Being the main culprit behind the Skull Merchant's ability to defend generators are no more. On top of making survivors exposed, these zones provided the Skull Merchant with too much information on the survivors within them, allowing the killer to quickly react and chase them away. With active zones removed, the Skull Merchant's drones need a new way to lock onto survivors. Now, whenever a survivor is scanned by a drone's beams, they will receive 1 stack of Lock On. Upon reaching 3 stacks of Lock On, the survivor will immediately receive a claw trap. However, avoiding the drone scanners won't be easy thanks to the introduction of 2 new modes. 2 modes. Eyes in the Sky will now have 2 modes, Stealth Mode and Scouting Mode. In Stealth Mode, the drone's spinning beams will be invisible and the drone will be much quieter. Survivors will want to watch closely for the lights on the drone itself to tell where the beams are so they can sneak up and disable it. Well, wait a minute, do these still scan through floors? Because what if it's upstairs or downstairs and I'm upstairs or downstairs, the opposite, and I can't see it? In Scouting Mode, the drone's scan lines will be visible and rotate much faster, making them more difficult to approach or run by undetected. In either mode, the drone's scan lines will not detect a survivor who is stationary, effectively preventing them from being used to guard generators. So stationary meaning like I'm on the gen, but I'm not, like, I'm doing the gen, but I'm not moving. A survivor can interact with a drone in either state to disable it for 45 seconds, after which they'll return to stealth mode. All right. Claw traps. Survivors who end up with a claw trap will find themselves on the receiving end of the following effects. If they're healthy, they'll be instantly injured. Oof. If they're injured, they'll receive deep wounds. This will not grant the survivor a speed boost. Okay, interesting. The survivor suffers from the broken status effect until the trap is removed, and their location will be revealed on the killer's scanner for a short duration. Additionally, survivors with a claw trap who are scanned by one of the killer's drones receive a 10% movement speed penalty for 6 seconds. Oh boy. And are revealed to the killer with killer instinct on their location for 3 seconds. So this is going to be kind of like driving people towards your resources to slow them down. Like a trapper or a hag would, I guess, maybe. If you have somebody who has a claw trap and you just force them towards another drone and then they get slowed. The claw trap's battery will expire and the trap will be removed automatically after 45 seconds. Okay, all right. Quality of life. We have also made adjustments across many aspects of the Skull Merchant to improve the way it feels to play as and against her. The Skull Merchant now has 6 drones available. It was 4. The Skull Merchant will now immediately become undetectable for 8 seconds after deploying a drone. Oh boy, so if you are like in a tile with high walls and they throw a drone in the air, they're undetectable for 8 seconds. Okay. The minimum distance between drones is now 16 meters. It was 22 meters. The killer's movement speed is no longer decreased when checking the scanner. Lock-on progress no longer decays. Drones can no longer be manually reactivated. Oh, so though, okay, all right. Drones can now be placed above or below other drones deployed on different floors. Okay, so they must not scan through floors then. If they can be placed above or below one another, they must not scan through the floors. Failing to hack a drone will now grant 1 stack of lock-on instead of instantly locking on. And the Skull Merchant's footsteps are now quieter, making her harder to track behind walls. Wow, okay. We've updated the Skull Merchant's chase music, and we've reviewed the Skull Merchant's add-ons, adjusting some and giving new effects to others. Wow, it's like a complete overhaul for her. I didn't think this is the way they were going to go. Interesting. Combined, these changes push Skull Merchant's drones in a more chase-oriented direction, giving them more immediate consequences when they're triggered, rather than slowly building over time. At the same time, her ability to defend generators for excessive lengths of time has also been reduced substantially, and we'll be keeping a close eye on these changes and making further adjustments as needed. Well, I think that's pretty much what everyone wanted was an overhaul on her, and they've done that. So kudos to her. We'll see how that works. I'm kind of terrified. All right. The Shattered Square. So this is for your map update. This update will feature a gameplay update to the Shattered Square map. When reviewing feedback for this map, we identified a few points of feedback which we wanted to address. Low obstacles. It was possible to bump into some small objects such as piles of hay or carcasses, and since these obstacles were so small, it was possible that you could bump into them without even seeing them, leading to some frustrating moments. We've done a pass on these sort of objects to ensure that anything which might block your path is clearly visible, in most cases making them taller so they're easier to see. The size and layout. The Shattered Square is among the largest maps in the game, and contrary to its name, it isn't even a square, it's actually a rectangle. The size of this map can make patrolling a little difficult, and to help with this, we have reduced the size of the map, turning it into a proper square in the process. The positions of some tiles have been readjusted as a result. Line of sight. Most obstacles in this map tended to be fairly low, making it quite easy for killers to spot survivors at long ranges, and difficult for stealthy killers to sneak up on survivors. To break up these long sight lines, we have arranged some tiles to limit how far you're able to see from any given point. Navigation. And last but not least, we have made various changes to make the map easier to navigate. This includes making it clearer which objects can be walked on and which will block your path. Nice. I'm pretty happy about that because I felt like this map is way too big for killer. I would be just like, okay, if I'm playing Survivor, should be an easy win. Yeah, so I'm glad they're tightening up that map. I didn't see anything about visibility because I don't really like the red hue on this map. I feel like it makes scratch marks hard to see. All the burning embers on the wall. It's like, are those burning embers or those scratch marks on the wall? So I don't know. We'll see what it looks like when it's being tested. McMillan Estate. This is a surprise. Our work on maps doesn't stop there. The entire McMillan Estate is being expanded. Each map in this realm has received a second alternate version. Oh, okay. I thought they were adding new maps to McMillan Estate. So the 2 variations of each map. Interesting. What does this mean? The next time you load into Suffocation Pit, for example, things might be a little different. The trademark mine shaft will still be there, but it may be in a different spot. The shape and layout of the map might also be slightly different. Oh, wow. So these are going to be completely different variations. That's instead of everything being so static and the same all the time. That's quite interesting. The goal with these variants is to add more variety to existing maps without changing the unique properties that sets them apart, such as their size, a bottleneck or a choke point that separates either side of the map, and so on. Can't wait to see those changes. Okay, perks, brace yourself. Let's see what's in here. Perks. Next up, we have a few small tweaks for a handful of perks. Furtive Chase. Furtive Chase is one of the lesser used killer perks, providing a way to switch obsessions throughout the match and reduce your terror radius during a chase. To give this perk a slight boost, we're increasing the terror radius reduction for each token to 5 meters. It was 4 meters for a maximum of 20 meters reduction. Oh, that sounds fun. Background Player. This perk allows you to sprint very quickly when the killer picks up another survivor, creating an opportunity to get into position for a save. Not only is this perk highly situational, but it leaves you exhausted, which could hinder you if you're chased shortly after. To make sure this perk is meaningful when it activates, we're increasing the duration of the speed boost to 5 seconds from 4 seconds. That's cool. Alright, so no windows of opportunity nerf, as some people said. The windows and not opportunity nerf is coming. That's why they changed it in the description accidentally. No, not yet. Killer tweaks. To cap things off, we also have a short list of adjustment for a few different killers. As usual, these are smaller scale tweaks that we managed to squeeze into various updates. The Trapper. The Trapper fills a very unique role in Dead by Daylight. Since he is all over the cover and is unlocked right away, he ends up being a lot of people's first experience playing as killer. And because of this, we try to keep him as simple and straightforward as possible. See a trap, set a trap. Among new players, the Trapper already performs fairly well. We don't want to throw off that balance too much, That said, in higher end matches, the trapper can struggle to keep up. To assist in those cases, we've made a few changes. 8 bear traps will now spawn on the map instead of 6. I like it. I like it. And trapper will receive a 7.5% haste effect after setting a bear trap. Interesting. We expect these changes to have minimal impact in lower skill matches where the trapper is already performing well, but provide a nice boost to higher end players who know how to take advantage of them. Additional bear traps will help ensure that you have an adequate supply, particularly on larger maps, and the added haste effect can help close the gap in case survivors catch on and begin running away while you set them. Nice. Huntress and Trickster. Oh boy. For both of these killers, reloading your projectiles at a locker is a must. However, doing so gives survivors a big head start to run away and gain some distance. And for this reason, many Huntress and Trickster players will run add-ons or perks like Iron Maiden to reduce their reload time. To improve quality of life and reduce reliance on these perks and add-ons, we've reduced the reload time for each killer to 3 seconds from 4 seconds. And then Iron Maiden, if you still run that, we'll reduce that even further. We're going to have some quick reloading going on. Nice. Deathslinger. Speaking of reloads, the Deathslinger will also find himself reloading very frequently. Because of this, add-ons which reduce his reload time see a lot of use. To make these add-ons less essential, we have taken part of the effect of the Warden's Keys add-on and incorporated it into the base kit and adjusted this add-on accordingly. The Deathslinger now reloads in 2.6 seconds by default instead of 2 3/4. And secondly, we've increased the movement speed bonus while aiming down sights for both the Jaw Smasher and the Wanted Poster add-ons to 1.5% and 3% respectively, up from 1% and 2.5%, to make them more interesting choices to consider. Nice. Next, the Legion. Lastly, we've adjusted the Legion's Best Friends Forever add-on. This add-on granted a 4% movement speed increase when the gates were powered, so long as the killer managed to land enough Feral Frenzy strikes during the match. Since this effect needed to be earned and is only active during the very end of the match, we're increasing this movement speed bonus to 6% to make it more impactful. Interesting. I don't know if I've ever faced that add-on. Not sure. When I first read it, I thought this was of an interesting one, but the requirement is a little more difficult to warrant using it. I don't know. With that, we've reached the end. Oh, so okay, so this is the end. So one of the things I want to say here about all of these other pass-throughs on this killer, this is the kind of stuff that I've been talking about for a while in the plan, that they needed to do something to avoid like this becoming Wesker by Daylight, where you just see Wesker over and over again. They needed to address the concerns that people have with other killers to make other killers more interesting and fun to play as, so that they don't just play Wesker because he's the most successful killer to play as. He's easy to play as, and he's fun to play as. So the dev team really needed to shore up the aspect of, what are the unfun things about these other killers that prevent people from playing those? How can we make these other killers as fun, or, as much more fun as possible, so that people will play other killers besides Wesker? So I like that this is a step in that direction to address some of the things that were unfun about these other killers. Some people had suggested just throwing blood points at it and making people pick these other killers because of blood point bonuses, which I completely disagree. We'll talk about that in another video. Completely disagree with that strategy. But I like that they've taken this approach. All right. With that, we've reached the end of this month's developer update. Each of the features and adjustments mentioned in this post will be available to try on the public test build starting this week, with the full update going live on all platforms at a later date. For the first time, join us tomorrow. Oh, what is this? At 10 a.m. in the Dead by Daylight Discord server, as our designers run through the full patch notes early. As always, be sure to let us know what you think after you've gotten your hands on them. What does that mean in the server? Are they going to do a live stream on the server? Or is it going to be an audio call? Are they going to read through it? I don't know. Maybe we'll investigate that tomorrow. All right, so I'm going to be assuming that, okay, so if they're going to go through the notes at 10 a.m., presumably at 11, the PTB will be available on Steam, and we can test this live ourselves on Twitch and see what's going on. So I'll be live streaming this tomorrow, assuming this comes out. One of the other questions that I saw that I thought was interesting was Mia's question here, along with Jared's thing about Bubba. Can someone explain why reworking Macmillan and the Borgo was more important than finally updating the Swamp Realm? Yes! Oh my gosh, the Swamp has been forever. Dead by Daylight. These are different beasts worked on by different teams. These updates are more gameplay oriented. Meanwhile, the Swamp would need a more visual overhaul. I do hope, and I'm holding on to faith, that the Swamp is being worked on by this different team. And let me see, we had on our roadmap here that there is a change coming, right? So roadmap here says in January we're getting a map graphical rework with Tome 18. So that'd be the mid chapter, the next mid chapter. So 3 months from when this mid chapter comes out. I'm hoping that that is the Swamp. I don't know what else it could be. If it's not the Swamp, then are they ever going to redo the Swamp? So hopefully we will have a new Swamp rework there in January 2024, Mia. All right, so that's what I've got for you for this developer update. Let me know what you think about all of these changes. I'd love to hear from you, all your thoughts and comments regarding this stuff and any concerns you may have. And are you excited about it? Or are you not excited about it? Let me know all of that. But as always, thank you so very much for your time spent here on the channel. I truly appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel a ton. Don't forget to take care of each other in and out of the fog, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
It's a Gen Rush life for us. It's a Gen Rush life for us. Set a hiding, we do gens. Set a randoms, we got friends. It's a Gen Rush life